Don't only acknowledge the challenge, acknowledge the opportunity.
This is Don't Fear Grit with Rob Taormina. Marketing strategies and advertising technologies to help you build a better business.
Now, hopefully you guys listen to episode 1 and 2 of this 3-part series. If you have not listened to those first 2 episodes, I highly recommend you pausing this episode, going back and listening to them in order, because there's a lot of great value there and it'll help you understand this particular episode. So again, it's okay. Pause this one, go back and listen to part 1 and part 2 of this 3-part series. Now, in part 2, we sat down with Nick Garcia. He's a brand new entrepreneur that did something extraordinary. He launched a business during the pandemic. Now, that normally would seem irresponsible or impossible, but what he proved to all of us that, in fact, it's not only possible, but it actually might be an even better time to launch. Now, how I want you guys to apply this to yourselves and why I'm so confident that this is a great time for you all to pursue that idea that's been brewing, or that project that you've been working on, or maybe you've got an established business and you are looking to scale, why this is actually the great time to do this. Here are some applications to you and your scenario right now. Number 1, and this is the obvious, is time. Is what the pandemic did. It actually gave everyone a gift of time. And that was the one of, if not the most common excuse that people would share with me, and really is the most common excuse of why people did not pursue things, is they said, I don't have enough time. Well, you know my sort of opinion on the matter of time. I believe that everyone does in fact have the time to pursue it, but even if you wanted to still push forward with the excuse, what the pandemic did was it gave everyone time. There was a shutdown. We were all forced to stay home for, a certain period of time. Some people got to stay home a little bit longer than others, but the fact is, life slowed down and we all had extra time. So one thing is, pandemics present an opportunity for you to dedicate time to things that you otherwise didn't have time to. That's number 1. Number 2 is that during this particular pandemic of 2020 and the age of technology, is because now everyone, or most people, were home, most people now were consuming more content. And now you had an audience, a captive audience that was actually looking for content to be entertained and content to, they wanted to improve their knowledge. So it gave everyone an opportunity to build brand awareness, to build brand authority. And so getting back to number 1 and 2, if you leverage the time properly to create great content during this time of pandemic, you had a captive audience that you were able to now build your brand awareness. That's huge, because the stronger brand you have in your particular market, the more chance you have at being successful, because that leads to real influence, which is fantastic. That's obviously the name of the game. Another really great reason that this creates a perfect opportunity, why this might be even better of an opportunity to launch something, is that, number 1, if you've got a project that you believe in, we all know that we're going to get through the pandemic, and eventually the pandemic constraints on our society is going to ease up. And so right now, a lot of people were working in offices and had a job where they had to commute to, and they're all at home. It's an opportunity that you can tap into that as a talent resource. Normally, all these people were busy working their jobs in big cities or big corporate. Now they're all home, and they also have a lot of extra time. So that leaves you, person who has a great idea looking to scale your business, to tap into a brand new talent pool of people who are home, bored, looking for something to do. You can provide them with that thing to do, and now you've got high-end talent to help you to build out your idea, product, or business. Now, on that thought, I want to actually reference back to a really important point that Nick Garcia made that I thought was great. And he said that what you need to do with your business, it's so important to delegate to people who are great, who are experts in doing a very specific thing. And when you do that for the components of your idea or your project, it ends up contributing to the whole, and the whole now is delivered in a better way. It's much, much better quality. So that's a big deal. So during this time, it allows you now to focus on the nitty-gritty, on the details, and where you can, outsource it to someone who is an expert in that particular field. So now ultimately the end product that you're going to be presenting to your consumer base is going to be of the best possible quality. Now is the time that affords you that opportunity to go ahead and pursue that. Another thing that pandemics actually allow you to do, because everything sort of slows down, it allows you to focus on detail. I sort of now reference that in the point prior to this one, but focusing on detail is great. Normally, we're very distracted. We live in a very noisy society where we have so many things that are pulling our attention. We've got multiple social media channels now, multiple streaming networks now. We've got a cell phone that the primary purpose of a cell phone is not even making phone calls anymore. We've got family life, work life. Many people have multiple jobs. There's so many things that's pulling for our attention. What this pandemic did, it slowed everything down and allows you to focus your mind towards that particular project. Having these moments of clarity actually helps you to deliver a better quality answer for whatever problem that you currently have, right? So that's a big deal. So what we need to do is we need to look at all of these things, and instead of saying this is only a terrible thing, because we can acknowledge how challenging and horrible this pandemic was, but it doesn't mean that there aren't silver linings. It doesn't mean that there are not opportunities. There are. We could do both. We can acknowledge the challenge, but we can also acknowledge the opportunity. But more important than acknowledging it, we need to take advantage of it. Execute is the most important thing. If you're not executing, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how great your idea is, because ultimately you just have a thought that's worth nothing. But what makes a thought, an idea valuable is executing on it. And that's what we need to do. Also, look at the pandemic as an opportunity to do great things. What do you think Hewlett-Packard thought of back in the 30s coming out of the Depression? They acknowledged, yes, there was a depression that really crippled the economy, crippled the American people, but it didn't stop them from taking advantage of the opportunity of launching a fantastic business. Look at Microsoft, what they did during a recession. They didn't think of, we are in a recession, therefore we have to wait. We have to wait until everything is firing in all cylinders and the economy is great. No. They said we can acknowledge the recession, but we can also acknowledge the opportunity, and they grew into an amazing company. Look at even all the tech companies that were built in 2009 in that area. Venmo, Airbnb, Uber, everyone that I'm talking to right now, I guarantee you all use all three of them. All three of them could have just acknowledged the recession, but instead they acknowledged the recession and they acknowledged the opportunity and they seized the moment, and that's the difference. And that's going to be the difference for you as well. Don't only acknowledge the challenge, acknowledge the opportunity. And that's what I want you to pull away from this incredible story that Nick Garcia shared with us. The whole point of this series, this 3-part series, is that even in the face of adversity, there is opportunity. I want you guys to let that marinate a little bit and let it motivate and inspire you to continue to pursue whatever the idea is that you had. Remember, this is not just for people looking to start a company. This sort of mindset is even for people who already have an existing company that might have been hit hard, and during this time they had ideas of wanting to scale. So scale. Do a great job at that. Did you know that if you had an existing business, that the media buying power actually decreased? The amount of businesses spending money on advertising decreased. What does that mean? It creates an opportunity for businesses that otherwise didn't have the resources to spend on advertising. Now, because of that opportunity, because there are less people spending, the price went down. It decreased, which presents an opportunity for you to start advertising at an all-time low. The advertising rates went down substantially. Take advantage of that. Maybe you were thinking about, you know what, I wish that my customer relationship management for my business was better. My referral business was better. Maybe, you know what, I wanted to start an email marketing campaign, but I was too busy. You know what? This all creates opportunity for you to now build out all those solutions, do a better job at things that maybe you were neglecting. Or maybe advertising and speaking to your audience and growing your audience, wherein prior to that you couldn't maybe afford it, but now I invest into yourself and invest into your business. This is a fantastic opportunity and a fantastic time to do that. Listen, the fact is there's going to be a business that's going to be started during this pandemic that's going to grow into the Airbnb that we saw over 10 years ago. The thing is that I want you to think about, is it going to be your business? I actually believe that it will be, because it all starts with mindset. First of all, knowing that you can do it. If you believed in the idea before the pandemic, then you need to still believe in the idea even now. Don't let it stop you. In fact, I want you to start. That's what's key. Start. Knowing that you could do it, so therefore just execute on it. Guys, it's amazing. Nick Garcia, I want to thank him for joining us in this particular series. His story is incredible. I wish him well in his journey. He started this amazing company, and I think it's going to grow into a massive, massive empire. It's going to be absolutely beautiful, guys. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in with me for this particular series. Remember, don't fear the process and don't fear grit. We'll see you next time.